Welcome, you curious listener, to another deep dive. We've got quite a stack of sources today. They really capture the lightning fast pace of the tech world, especially, in AI and mobile innovation.
That's right. Our mission today really is to unpack some, well, pretty significant recent announcements from the heavy hitters. We're
Mhm.
talking new AI models pushing the boundaries, massive OS updates changing how we use our phones, and even strategic moves towards what some people are calling superintelligence.
Woo. Okay.
Yeah, we'll try to cut through the noise, zero in on the nuggets that matter most, just to help you stay informed.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Let's unpack this stack and see what really stands out. Where should we kick things off?
I think maybe the best place to start is with the foundation. The AI models themselves, they power so much of this stuff. We've got important news from two key labs shaping the field, OpenAI, obviously, and the European player Mistral.
Okay, OpenAI and Mistral. And what's the main theme you're seeing from what they've announced?
What's really fascinating looking at the sources is how both are focusing specifically on um, reasoning models. That's the term they're using.
Learning models.
Yeah, it's kind of a step beyond just, predicting the next word or generating text that sounds right. These are models designed to actually work through problems, step-by-step logic deduction, which you absolutely need for complex stuff. Think physics problems, advanced math, coding, even like strategic analysis.
Right, okay. So they're trying to build AI that can think through something, not just react. Makes sense. Let's start with OpenAI then. They're kind of the benchmark right now, arguably. What did the sources highlight about their new one, o3-Pro?
Right, o3-Pro. It's positioned as their most capable model yet. Think of it as a souped-up version of their earlier o3 reasoning model. It's rolling out now to different tiers of ChatGPT users, starting premium, then
Yeah.
expanding.
Okay.
And crucially, it's available right now for developers through their API.
And the API pricing kind of gives you a sense of the scale, right? I saw numbers like 20 per $1 million input tokens, $80 per $1 million output. That's huge.
It is.
Someone calculated like a million input tokens is roughly 750,000 words. Yeah. Longer than War and Peace, just for the input.
Yeah, it really helps visualize the sheer amount of data these things process. And OpenAI, well, they're making some strong claims based on their internal tests.
Like what?
They're saying expert reviewers consistently prefer o3-Pro over the older models, and even competitors in key areas, science, education, helping with programming, business tasks, writing. They're highlighting improvements in like clarity, how comprehensive the answers are, accuracy, and importantly, how well it follows complex instructions.
And this new model, it also has better access to tools. That seems like a big deal.
Oh, absolutely. The sources note it can effectively use web search, so it gets current info. It can analyze files you upload, understand images, run Python code, and even use a kind of memory to personalize responses based on your past chats. That moves it beyond just text in, text out. It's more dynamic.
Okay, that all sounds incredibly powerful. But were there any catches, any limitations mentioned?
Yeah, a few current caveats the sources pointed out. Temporary chats are off right now. Apparently a technical issue they're fixing. It can't generate images, unlike some of their other models.
Right.
And their Canvas workspace feature, that collaborative thing. Not supported with o3-Pro yet. Also, and this is important for users, responses generally take longer than the older o1-Pro, so there's a speed trade-off.
Okay. Still, the performance claims are pretty impressive. Their internal benchmarks reportedly show o3-Pro beating Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro on that's a tough math test, right?
Right.
And Anthropic's Claude 4 Opus on GPQA Diamond, which is like PhD level science stuff.
Exactly.
So they're directly comparing against their main rivals and claiming wins. The competition is clearly fierce.
It absolutely is. Which brings us nicely to Mistral, the French AI lab, founded pretty recently, 2023, but they've quickly become a major player.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about them.
And they've just made their own big move into this reasoning model space with a new family they're calling Magistral.
Okay, Magistral. So like OpenAI, they're building models specifically for these step-by-step logical tasks, math, physics, that kind of thing.
Precisely. The sources talk about two main versions. There's Magistral Small, which is still pretty big, 24 billion parameters.
Okay.
But what's really interesting about that one is it's available open source. You can download it from Hugging Face under permissive license.
Oh, wow. So accessible for researchers and smaller companies.
Exactly. Then there's the more capable one, Magistral Medium. That one's in preview on their own platform, the chat, and their API, plus through some third-party cloud providers.
And who are they aiming these at? What are the use cases Mistral is pushing?
They seem really focused on enterprise uses, structured calculations, generating code logic, building decision trees, rule-based systems, that sort of thing.
Right.
They're saying Magistral is fine-tuned specifically for multi-step logic problems, and they're aiming for better interpretability so you can maybe see how it reached an answer and responses that are well phrased in the user's own language. They also mentioned research, planning, data analysis.
Okay. Now, Mistral, they've raised a ton of money, right? Over €1 billion.
Yep, 1.1 billion.
But the sources seem to suggest they were maybe a bit behind in these advanced reasoning models until now. How does Magistral actually perform according to Mistral's own numbers?
Yeah, that's the important question, isn't it? Their own data, the stuff they shared, actually shows Magistral Medium currently underperforming Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro and Anthropic's Claude Opus 4 on those same key tests, GBQA, Diamond, and Amy.
Oh, interesting.
And it also doesn't beat Gemini 2.5 Pro on a common programming benchmark, Live Code Bench.
Huh. So OpenAI is out there claiming top scores, but Mistral's own data shows them trailing the leaders on these specific high-level benchmarks. So what are they highlighting as their strength then?
Well, they pivot, right? They talk about other advantages.
Yeah.
They claim Magistral is like 10 times faster than competitors within their LeChat platform. Speed, and also broad language support.
Okay.
They emphasize Italian, Arabic, Russian, simplified Chinese, languages beyond just English. So it suggests maybe a focus on global accessibility and efficiency rather than just topping those specific English benchmark charts.
Fascinating. So you've got these different strategies playing out. OpenAI pushing the absolute performance frontier on benchmarks, Mistral maybe going for speed, broader language support, open source for one model. This competition is definitely shaping things in diverse ways.
Absolutely. And, it's not just about the core models in isolation.
Right, because even the best AI needs to be, well, usable, integrated into the things we actually use every day, which I guess brings us to Google and their big software push.
Exactly. Perfect timing, too. Right after some big announcements from their competitors, Google just started rolling out a massive wave of updates this week. It's not just one thing. It's the core Android system, specific Google apps, Pixel devices. It's pretty broad.
Okay, let's break that down. Starting with Android 16 itself. What are some of the key things users will notice according to the sources? Interface, security.
Well, Android 16 is getting those iOS-style live notifications on the lock screen. Real-time updates without unlocking sports scores, deliveries, that kind of thing.
Ah, useful.
There's also Google's new design language, Material 3 Expressive, rolling out. It's their latest visual style, aiming for more dynamic, personal, customizable look across the whole interface.
Right.
On the security front, enhanced safeguards against theft and scams built into the OS. Plus an updated advanced protection mode for people like public figures who might face higher risks.
And connectivity. Anything major there?
Yeah, better support for Bluetooth LE audio devices. This means potentially better call quality, because the device's mic can be used instead of the phone's, and importantly, native volume controls right from your phone for those low-energy Bluetooth gadgets.
And what about tablets? Anything coming later?
Yep, sources note later this year, Android 16 on tablets is slated to get desktop-style windowing, so better multitasking, more like a computer, and custom keyboard shortcuts are planned too.
Okay, sounds like a lot of refinement on the interface and usability. What about communication, notification?
So across Android 16 and maybe some other supported versions, Google Messages gets updates, RCS group chats with custom icons, finally. And the ability to mute notifications for specific times, helpful for busy chats.
Definitely.
Android 16 specifically adds HDR screenshots, better quality images there, adaptive refresh rate for smoother displays, and maybe better battery life. And maybe my favorite, forced grouping for notifications. Alerts from the same app get bundled automatically on the lock screen. Less clutter.
Yes. Okay. And AI isn't just for the big models, right? Google Photos is getting smarter too.
Absolutely. Soon, Photos will start suggesting AI editing tools, right? Where you look at a picture like, hey, want to erase that person or move this object, or even use generative AI to reimagine parts of the image.
Whoa, making complex edits way easier.
Exactly. Puts it right there for you.
Very cool. Now, beyond the main Android 16 stuff, there's the Pixel drop, right? Features specifically for Pixel phones rolling out now. What's notable there?
Yeah, lots of interesting Pixel-specific things, leveraging their hardware and software integration. There's a new Pixel VIPs widget. Lets you see recent interactions with favorite contacts, calls, messages, even WhatsApp messages. And it can show their birthday or location updates if they share that. For accessibility, video captions are getting more detailed even on live streams and can describe non-speech sounds now, like whispering or yawning.
Wow, that's detailed.
Yeah, and for fun, you can create custom stickers directly from text prompts using AI right inside the keyboard.
Huh, okay. Are they expand their features to new places or languages too?
Exactly. The AI summaries in the Recorder app now works in French and German. And, really importantly, emergency SOS via satellite is coming to users in Australia, a huge safety feature for remote areas.
That's great news. Any other, like, device-specific things or accessibility updates?
Yes, a battery health indicator is coming. But interestingly, the sources say it's only for the Pixel 8a and newer, not the Pixel 8 or 8 Pro from last year.
Huh, that's odd.
Yeah, bit strange. And for Pixel 5 and later, the Magnifier app gets a really cool AI feature. You can describe what you're looking for in the camera view, and the app uses AI to find and highlight it, even giving haptic feedback. Could be amazing for visually impaired users.
That sounds incredibly useful. And what about business users, enterprise stuff?
Yeah, they can now store corporate badges in Google Wallet. And tying back to our AI discussion, the Gemini chatbot app is getting integrated more deeply into Google Docs on Android.
How so?
You can ask Gemini to summarize the doc, pull out insights, translate text, all without leaving the Docs app. And Chrome on Android is also getting better PDF handling, like linked document viewing.
Okay, so Google's strategy is clear. Weave AI through everything, not just standalone tools, while also improving the core OS and device features. It's a massive rollout, really bringing AI into everyday tasks for potentially billions of people.
Yeah, a huge integration effort. And while Google's focused on that integration for now, other players are reportedly looking much, much further ahead.
Which takes us to our final segment. This reported strategic move from Meta towards some really ambitious future goals.
Right. And this really raises the question of where the biggest tech companies see AI ultimately going. Reports, especially from the New York Times, suggest Meta is planning a new, dedicated AI research lab. Its specific focus, achieving what's being called superintelligence.
Superintelligence. Okay, that sounds big. Who's reportedly involved in setting this up?
Well, the New York Times mentioned Alexander Wang. He's the founder and CEO of Scale AI, that company crucial for data labeling for AI training. He's apparently set to join this new lab.
Wow, that's a big name.
Yeah. And Meta is reportedly talking about investing billions into Scale AI, maybe bringing some of their people over too. The Times also said Meta's been actively poaching top researchers from rivals like OpenAI and Google, really trying to gather top talent.
So what's driving this? Why the aggressive push from Meta right now?
Sources speaking to Bloomberg suggest Mark Zuckerberg is reportedly frustrated with where Meta currently stands in AI compared to rivals. Apparently, he's been personally involved in recruiting for this new lab, meeting researchers at his homes, trying to build this focused team of maybe 50 people, including finding a new head of AI research. Sounds like a very personal mission for him.
So he's all in. What's the actual goal here, according to these reports? What do they even mean by superintelligence?
Well, Zuckerberg reportedly believes Meta can and should beat other tech companies in the race towards AGI, artificial general intelligence.
AGI, right.
Our source described AGI as that, still kind of a defined idea that AI could exceed human performance in many tasks.
Yeah.
But the framing around superintelligence seems to imply an even higher ambition, aiming to potentially exceed human performance in most or all areas.
Wow. Okay.
It's still theoretical, the definition's fuzzy, but it signals this ambition to go way beyond just matching human capabilities, maybe surpassing them across the board in cognitive functions.
That is a massive long-term goal. And it's interesting, right? Because Meta AI just hit 1 billion monthly active users. They have huge scale already.
Exactly.
But this move suggests they also want to be right at the cutting edge of fundamental research, aiming for breakthroughs that could, well, change everything.
Absolutely. And what's so fascinating is how this reported move just underlines the sheer intensity of the competition at the very top levels of AI R&D. It's this high-stakes race towards capabilities that are still mostly theory, but could be completely transformative. It shows that even while focusing on today's products, the big players are absolutely positioning for a very different AI future.
Wow. What a dynamic picture emerges from these sources. We've got OpenAI and Mistral battling it out with new reasoning models, taking different approaches. We've got Google embedding AI features everywhere in Android and their apps right now.
Hmm.
And then we have these reports of Meta making huge investments and recruiting top people for a dedicated superintelligence lab, aiming for that far horizon of AGI.
It really shows these diverse strategies playing out all at once, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Building better core AI brains, integrating AI into daily life at scale, and this ambitious, long-term research push. Each move shapes the landscape, highlights the different fronts in this AI race.
That was a really thorough deep dive into this stack. Hopefully you listening feel a lot more informed about these major moves and how everyone's trying to get ahead.
And, it leaves us with a pretty big question to chew on watching this unfold. This incredible pace of innovation, this intense competition across the models, the products, the far future research.
Hmm.
What do you think is the single biggest driver behind it all right now? Is it really that ambitious? Maybe even kind of existential chase for AGI or superintelligence? Or is it more the immediate practical demand from users for AI features they can actually use in their apps today? Or maybe it's just the raw pressure of the market. Innovate faster than your rivals because leading in AI is seen as the key to everything.
That's a great question to ponder. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. We'll be back soon with another stack of sources to unpack.